It's about the journey, not the destination. Reality is better than imagination. When I feel free, free to be me. When I feel free, free to be me.
Welcome, everybody, to Travel Your Heart, a podcast where two gay grandpas explore life's travels together. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Travel Your Heart, a podcast from two gay grandpas.
Hi, I'm Grandpa Scott.
And I'm Grandpa Bobby, and welcome aboard. So, if you may have been watching us, you'll notice that this is the first time we've been back in our studio for a long time.
Yeah, that would be like 7 weeks.
Yeah. So, where were we?
Well, we did a 6-week road trip through the United Kingdom and Ireland that turned out to be 7 weeks. But that's a surprise that you'll learn about toward the end of this podcast.
That's right. A little tease to keep you...
That's what they call it, a tease.
Exactly. So what we thought is we're going to be having a lot of travel videos. We've got Grandpa Scott working day and night to get those out to you. But we thought we'd give you a little bit of tips that we learned along the way while we were traveling. So the first thing we wanted to start off with, tips about how you travel. So how did we travel on this trip, Grandpa?
This is going to sound like a movie title. Planes, trains, automobiles, ferries, and our feet.
Our feet. We did a lot of feet. We didn't do any bicycles this time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll work that in sometime.
We need to do that.
So we wanted to talk about planes really briefly. And as you know, plane travel can be very expensive these days. Our advice is if you can afford it, for any flight over, say, 5-6 hours, that you try to upgrade. Now, the nice thing is there are a lot of different types of upgrades available these days.
Oh, yeah. You have premium economy, and there's actually a new one out called Premium Delight. And that's kind of between economy and the premium.
Well, that's
package.
anything that you can do to help upgrade to give you more width and more legroom. It's really great benefit. You'll be less grumpy when you get there. And then let's talk about the trains.
Oh, I love the train system in Europe and the United Kingdom and Ireland. It was wonderful to take these trains. I wish the rail system here in the United States was as effective and easy.
Yeah, as they go to so many places, they run on time, clean, very easy to use, and even easier than when we were last in Europe. Now, everything is tap and go. Before, you'd have to buy a ticket, and in some cases, you'd have to have the ticket activated before you got on the train. Now, all you have to do is take your iPhone, or you take a travel card or any credit card, and you just tap at the turnstile to get in, and then when you're leaving, you just tap to get out. It is so easy.
Yeah. Tap in, tap out.
That's right. But we did have an experience with the trains.
Oh, yes. One thing you have to be aware of is many times in Europe, there'll be strikes. And there was a threat of a strike while we were in Newcastle trying to get to London. We had our ticket, we had our seats, and we went to the rail station, and surprise, the train was canceled even before the actual strike date because some of the...
I think it was like they had people that didn't come in for work, so they didn't have walk off, as they call it.
Yeah, they kind of did a little early strike.
Yeah, a little early strike. And then all the other trains to London were canceled that day. But because you travel with Grandpa Scott, you are always excessively early. And in this case, we were way early for the train. And
way early, he means like a half hour.
No, we were like 2 hours early. Anyway, the point is we were 15 minutes ahead of the last train going to London. We ran in, we got tickets for that, and we were able to get on that last train that was going to London that day.
We were so lucky. I threw myself at the mercy of the ticket agent and played dumb, which is kind of easy for me. He took sympathy on us.
Got us on the trip.
Honestly, I think we got one of the last set of tickets, and we got to sit together.
Yeah, which was rare.
Yeah.
So I will have to admit, Grandpa Scott was right. Mark this date.
This is a historic day in
Yeah.
history.
Getting to the train station early or any planes, what have you, if it's a scheduled time and there's a potential for a strike, get there early.
I'm getting on a train in the morning.
Now, we've always talked about trains. We already had a whole podcast where we talked about cars.
Yeah.
But we just want to reiterate the lesson we've learned from cars renting overseas is,
Well, get an automatic.
yes,
Get all the insurance that
Yes.
you possibly can, because you'll need it.
yeah. No, and Grandpa Scott is a great driver, but yeah, when you're driving, especially on the side of the road you're not used to, you kiss a few curbs. So we, even before we went there, we got all the insurance that was available.
Yeah.
But when we got there, they offered us an extra insurance.
And it really wasn't that much money.
No, it wasn't,
really
and
wasn't.
it was worth it because
Ooh, yes.
even the little scratches we came back with would have cost a lot of money.
Well, one of them wasn't a little scratch.
Well, okay,
Okay.
a little ding, but even so,
I
get the
pretty
extra
much took out
insurance.
a Roman wall.
But we brought back all the side view mirrors.
Yes, we did. I did not lose a side
We
view
rented
mirror.
4 different rental cars. That was a little much,
Yeah.
but trying to get used to each new car, each new GPS system, what a pain. But we brought back 8 mirrors, all intact. The other thing we took were ferries. Why don't you talk about that?
You know, they were really enjoyable and very easy to do. We actually booked the ferry from Holyhead to Dublin while we were here in the United States. But what we did discover when we were in Ireland, that we could save about 2 hours on our road trip by taking this very short ferry across Shannon Bay.
Yep.
Shannon Bay. And we did it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those drive on, drive off ferries. And boy, did they pack it.
Yeah, they pack it in, saved a lot of time, and wasn't expensive either.
No, not expensive, but I had to turn in those side mirrors again.
Yes.
And they pushed us so close to the wall of the ferry,
Yeah.
you couldn't get
I
out.
had
You had
to crawl
I had to get out. And you
over.
had to crawl across the seat to get out.
They pack them in. But you know, one thing you brought up about the ferries is a lesson we really wanted to share. And that is, we thought we were doing really great. We made our reservations ahead of time. And we made our reservations for 2:40 in the afternoon. Now, the day before we were going on the ferry, we're in northern Wales, and it suddenly dawned on us that Europeans use military time. So instead of booking it for 2:40 in the afternoon like we thought, we had booked it for 2:40 in the morning.
Yeah, AM.
We panicked. Fortunately, there was another ferry company running at the same time, and we were able to switch over and make it because we would have been trapped in Wales without a way across.
Those things happen when you travel, guys. They happen. And don't panic. You can always find a solution.
Oh, well, like the time when we were in Munich going to Prague, and we had made train reservations for September 8th. But what we forgot again is that in Europe, they invert the month and the days differently.
The days first, then the month.
So we had made our reservations actually for August 9th, and our train had gone by the time long gone.
We got to Germany a month later.
Yeah, so we always say Grandpa Scott because he has a way of getting people to look at sympathy on us and get us tickets, and
What
he
he's
made the
saying is
train.
Grandpa Scott looks old and dumb and
Just act
decrepit,
feeble.
Okay.
So let's go on to talk about where we stayed. We stayed, I counted, in a total of 7 weeks that we were gone, we stayed in 18 different places. I got to tell you, I think in retrospect, that might be a little too many.
Yeah, maybe to think about it, maybe 6 weeks was a little too much.
Yeah.
But, Grandpa Scott and Grandpa Bobby, when we plan these things, we look and go, Oh, look, that's real close on the map. We can include it.
Yes, I think it's a problem with, especially us living in the Western United States, when we travel long distances to go places. But when
Like to dinner.
but when you're in Europe and you see, oh my God, that is so close. It's only another 2 hours and we could do this. We get overly optimistic and we try to put too much in. But I think our advice would try to stay at least 3 nights in one place, because that can be a little challenging.
We did a lot of that, though. We did.
Yes, we did. Some of these were the longest we've ever stayed, but there were some times that we switched over frequently. Now, we prefer to stay in short-term rental properties. We do that for a number of reasons. Number one, we have a lot of stuff we bring, camera equipment, etc.
Sound
It's
equipment.
good to spread out, and we need
Grandpa
to.
Bobby's clothes.
No, my wardrobe is pretty small. Anyway, we need to sometimes work on our videos while we're there. So having more than just a desk and having a sofa you can lounge on really helps. So we enjoyed doing that. Also, we found that short-term rentals, even though they may be expensive at the onset, you do save by eating meals there.
Yeah, you can buy groceries and cook, and you don't have to worry about running out because you can get your cuppa in the morning when you want. And also for us, we still run our design business.
Yeah.
And so we were doing that while we were traveling.
Yeah.
So the big laptop was absolutely a necessity. So that's why we do it.
Yeah.
We're getting old, and to put like
Getting?
okay,
I think you're there.
we're old. But we're not like some of you younger people who can just sit cross-legged on a bed with your laptop and work. If I sit cross-legged on a bed, I'm not getting up for about 4 hours.
But there are some things you should be aware of when you're looking at short-term rentals. Really do your research. Read the reviews that are posted with them. Take a good look at the photos. Take a look at the map, because sometimes photos can be misleading. Sometimes we thought that a property was kind of out in the country, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, the way that the angle of the camera took it, it really wasn't. It was pretty much in the center of a bunch of buildings.
Yeah.
And while it was a wonderful place, and we did enjoy it, and had great Wi-Fi, we thought we were going to be out more rural, which is what we wanted.
Yeah, but it was a great place anyway. And the other thing too is photos sometimes lie. You can have some very artful photographs, and sometimes the result. Now, we rented about 10 or 12 of these different short-term rentals, and I would say only two were clunkers.
Yeah, 2.
One was kind of so bad that we left early.
Yep. And we gave feedback on that, because we posted that feedback so that other people could read the reviews. So honestly, don't just look at the photos. Really look at the reviews, and see, are the majority of them this? And even when you see a negative review, look to see if there are threads in it, like the bed was horrible, or the shower pressure was horrible, or
the Wi-Fi,
or the Wi-Fi was
and it's important for you, if you have some negative, leave reviews so that your fellow travelers can be aware down the road. That will help to raise all the boats together.
Yeah, and if it was a wonderful place, say that too.
We say that as well.
We did that a lot, yeah.
Oh, and the one thing too that we have learned now to look for as we are aging is if there are elevators available. Now, we like to stay in kind of charming, unique places, so many times there might not be an elevator. But the thing you have to remember is, even if someplace tells you it's on the first floor, remember, if you're traveling abroad, they don't count the first floor like we do. They have the ground floor and then
the first
what
floor,
we call the second floor.
which is their first.
Yeah. So you can end up having a bunch of stairs that you have to deal with if you're not careful.
Yeah, and one more thing about looking at the photos, try to see how many electrical outlets they have.
Oh boy, yeah.
That was really important for us because, as content creators, also running our business, we had a lot of requirements for outlets. Mm-hmm. So just
and bring your adapters.
Yes, make sure you bring your
And
adapters.
just make sure you understand what adapters are needed for each country you travel in. And for us, because we were traveling United Kingdom and Ireland, we had to bring different adapters. So make sure you stock up on that. And then the last thing regarding where we stayed is when we stay at hotels, we prefer little charming hotels or bed and breakfast. But a tip, try to find a place that has breakfast. You'll save money that way. Even if you have to pay a little additional, it'll be cheaper than going to a restaurant. And for us, make sure they have coffee. Remember that place in Boston where they didn't have coffee?
Yes, and we got up at, I got up at 5 a.m.
Oh.
needing coffee, and we had to quickly put some clothes on and run out. And I think it was about 4 blocks to find
In a
the
Starbucks.
Starbucks. The Starbucks was the only thing open,
Yeah.
and we got the coffee.
Yeah,
but-
for some reason, this hotel didn't have any coffee available until 7 a.m.,
7 a.m.
even in all their public areas.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but we definitely need the kickstart in the morning. So speaking of coffee, let's transfer over and talk about what we ate. How did we
What
eat?
didn't we eat?
I know. We came back with a few more souvenirs.
Gosh, yeah. We ate everything that said full. If it was a full English, we ate it. If it was full Irish, we ate it.
And we
If it was
fold
full
up.
Scottish, yeah, we did. Because we wanted to try the different cuisines. And we also had some salads. We found some great
Yes.
places in Dublin for salads.
For salad of all places.
Oh, delicious. It was
for some
a,
reason, when you're traveling, salads are hard to find.
The Moroccan salad was just
Yeah.
incredible.
And in fact, we also made sure we ate our largest meal at lunchtime. Although that's supposed to help with weight, but it really only helped.
It helped us gain weight.
Yeah, there you go. And try to get out and walk a lot. We did do a lot of
my God,
walking,
yeah.
but you just, when those little treats or those scones with clotted cream are your way, what are you going to say?
And when you're driving, you'd have a tendency to, get a couple of bags of cookies and we'll just nibble.
Yeah.
And we nibbled.
Yeah, we nibbled. But anyway, we have time to lose.
But we didn't eat French fries.
That's true.
We just ate cookies.
So, what did we see while we were there?
Oh, gosh. Do you guys have 3 days? You don't. I mean, some of the highlights for me, of course, was I love the London Eye. You know I do. I love it because you get these great views, especially if it's a clear day, and we had one. This was our second time on the London Eye. And I loved the Sky Garden. Oh, that was incredible. And I enjoyed Little Venice.
Yeah.
I mean, London. I love London.
Yeah.
I love London. I love.
There
London
are
as
so
a
many
city.
things we saw on our trip. We saw over 20 different castles. We saw abbeys. We saw stone circles. We saw stone forts.
A lot of rooms.
A lot of ruins.
Castle ruins.
A lot of
Burial
grand
mounds.
homes.
Oh, yeah,
we
burial
went to Downton Abbey. We went to national parks because
yeah.
we did the extreme, going from much more urban to much more rural. I don't know how many waterfalls we saw.
About 36.
Yeah, it seems like it. We did a lot. I think maybe we bit off a little more than we could chew for one trip.
Now,
but-
we said that when we come back. Right now, I'm going, when's our next trip?
yeah, but we did it for you so that you could
Yeah,
see
we
everything.
suffer for you.
But then, while we were in London, we got a surprise. Now, we were intending for this to be a 6-week trip, but we got a little surprise. Why did you tell them about that?
Well, I opened up the email and I get this letter from a wonderful lady who is at Google. And I guess they had seen our videos on YouTube. And we got an invite to go to New York it was September 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, September 3rd and 4th.
And they wanted us to give a presentation to about 500 of the Google team members there in their New York office near the Hudson River on Washington. Beautiful offices.
Now, my first reaction was, okay, Grandpa, you're being scammed. How much money do these people want us to pay? But it was actually true. We had a Zoom call with them, and they found us interesting. They felt that we had something that we could bring to their presentation.
To their team.
So it was an amazing experience. So we, of course, it just happened to dovetail into our trip. We were coming back. So the day that we came back through Boston, the day that we were going to fly back from Boston, we instead flew to New York.
And had a wonderful
Had an amazing-
3 days, 2 days of which were spent a lot of time there at the Google headquarters, had a wonderful tour, had lunch.
Yeah.
So we met some incredible people, wonderful people. We had just an incredible time at the presentation.
And we hope to be able to share some of those things with you. Of course, things, with Google are confidential. So we're talking to them about what we can share and what we can't. So hopefully look for that. We'll get you something soon on that. But we're really humbled. It was truly an amazing experience.
Yeah, as content creators we're not mega content creators. We don't have the millions of subscribers. So to be selected to do this was such an honor. I mean, we talked about it. I said, Bobby, pinch yourself. Is this happening?
Yeah.
Even when we were there, I pinched myself to say, is this happening?
Well, they must have liked it because they gave us all a standing ovation. So
Be humble, Grandpa.
I know, but it was fun.
Be humble. But it was a standing go. And that, it was okay. For us two old farts, it was quite an honor.
Yep. And it also gave us some great time to shoot some new things in New York while we were there. We hadn't been to New York for several years. And wow, especially areas around the Hudson are really developing. So we got to film the High Line. We got to film Little Island, Hudson Yards. So we're going to have a video on that too.
And also, I want to give kudos out to the LaGuardia Airport.
Oh my God.
We hadn't been there since
Before the pandemic,
COVID.
yeah.
And it used to be something I did not want to fly into because it was basically a bus station. It is now perhaps one of the most beautiful airports you'll ever have the pleasure to land in.
Very, very easy to use. It was a
Easy to
great
use,
experience.
beautiful, wonderful food, easy access,
Yeah.
a great gate system. Yeah, it really was a pleasure.
So what are some final thoughts about this overall trip? Just some far-reaching thoughts about it.
Well, I don't want to go too far reaching because I'm thinking I want our next trip. So talking about this trip makes me want our next one.
Yeah.
And it was just a great way to review and to share with the folks out there listening to us or watching us on YouTube, and to kind of just relive it with you.
Yeah. And, for me, I think the most memorable thing was I love the places, but it was the people. And that's something you really can't prepare for, is the encounters you're going to have with the people you met along the way. They were so friendly. So helpful, and the great little stories we have of just the interactions with them.
Folks, we had so many people come and say, Grandpas, you're here. Grandpas, I follow you. All over. Yeah.
That was shocking.
Shocking and humbling, and it's like, wow. So that
really touched us.
Yeah, yes. Especially, I guess I was touched by the young lady at the train station who pretty much yelled out across. I always say
platforms. What?
The rail station.
St. Pancras.
St. Pancras.
Not St. Pancras. St. Pancras.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my God! It's our grandpas.
Yeah, that is kind of. Humbling, but very exciting for us too.
Things you remember.
Yeah, some of the things too that surprised us is a lot of the places that we visited that we really enjoyed were either free or pretty inexpensive. So while we always say, don't hesitate about paying that entrance fee because how many times you're going to be there, everything doesn't have to cost. There are a lot of things you can see which are pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, a good hike, going to the markets.
Yes, the markets in London.
just smelling the bread in a bakery.
Oh, don't go there. We're already in big enough trouble with our weight.
Anyway.
And then the other thing, too, the final thing is also pace yourself. Now, not just because we're older, but everybody, you should try to take a vacation from vacation occasionally. Don't make it just a marathon of seeing one thing and then the next. Take time to enjoy it. As they say, stop and smell the roses.
Yeah. Which we did.
Yep, we did a lot.
We did a lot.
So what'd you think of this episode, Grandpa?
I liked it. I liked it, like for the reasons I had mentioned earlier, that, it was nice to relive it with you and to share it with the folks listening or watching.
Yeah, but it now makes us eager to go again. So we already have some things on the books, which we'll share with you later. But for now, we are editing videos, dieting, and making more plans for the future. So we hope you'll come along. If you enjoy our podcast, we hope that you'll subscribe wherever you do get your podcasts.
Yeah.
And also, if you would like to, we would really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our videos at twogaygrandpastravel.com. Please give us a like and hit that notification bell. It really helps with our algorithms as we try to grow our channel.
Absolutely. A lot of people like to see the visual as well as the audio, and the place for that is on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So until next time, we just wanted to thank you all for tuning in, for watching our videos. And as we always say, whenever you travel your heart. Bye, folks.
Bye, everybody.